This is for community safety! No unauthorized swimming!
He held Caleb Walker underwater while shouting about community safety. Seconds earlier, it was just a happy backyard pool party. Burgers sizzling, kids laughing, music playing, a warm afternoon where everything felt right. And then, chaos. Neighbors froze. Phones came up. Screams tore through the air. Danielle Walker, still in her summer dress, dove headfirst into the pool. Her husband Jordan lay bleeding on the concrete, eyes wide, dazed. Two men in tactical vests scrambled toward the gate. But before you judge what happened that day, you need to know how it all started. It was a lazy Saturday in a quiet American suburb. The Walker backyard glowed under a golden sun. Lawn chairs circled the pool, watermelon slices glistened on plates, burgers smoked on the grill. Caleb, 6 years old, grinned wide as he splashed around in his green floaties. Jordan Walker, once a skilled mechanic and now a proud stay-at-home dad, flipped patties on the grill, watching his son with quiet pride. Danielle, the mom, snapped photos on the patio, humming softly. Completely unaware, her whole world was about to flip. Then the piece cracked. A black SUV screeched to a stop outside the gate, tinted windows, no plates. Two men stepped out in black polos and tactical vests stamped with bold white letters, HOA. No names, no IDs, just attitude. You can't keep that pool open without regulation signage, barked the first. Tall, rigid, buzz cut so sharp it screamed control issues. The second, heavier, chewed gum like he hated every second of his own life. Jordan frowned. Excuse me, who the hell are you? Homeowners Association Compliance Task Force, Buzzcut shot back, flashing a badge too quick to read. Your pool violates HOA Article 9, subsection 12, hazard to community safety. Jordan laughed dryly. There's no rule like that. Danielle crossed her arms. We know every word in that handbook. Try again. Buzzcut didn't blink. Step aside, sir. We're shutting this down. Can you imagine? Two random men showing up to ruin a family's Saturday over a pool? But it got worse. Buzzcut stormed past Jordan, reached straight into the water, and grabbed Caleb by the back of the neck. What are you doing? Danielle screamed. Caleb's floaties slipped off. The man pushed him under, muttering, He's resisting. Jordan lunged, but the bulky enforcer slammed him hard to the patio. Blood spilled. Neighbors screamed. 30 horrifying seconds, a child underwater, a man shouting, safety. Have you ever seen someone claim they're protecting the community while nearly drowning a kid? Yeah, that's what this was. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from and make sure to subscribe to Silent Divide Tales because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Danielle didn't freeze. She moved. Still in her dress, she dove into that pool, dragging Caleb up through splashing chaos. Caleb, baby, breathe. She screamed, voice breaking. On the patio, Jordan was crawling, blood dripping from his temple. Together, they pressed on Caleb's chest, praying, pleading. Then, a cough, a sputter, a gasp for air. Caleb choked, cried, water spilling from his mouth. The whole yard erupted in tears and shouts of relief. But that moment didn't last. The fake officers bolted for the gate until Tommy Ruiz, the neighbor who mowed everyone's lawns, stepped in. He grabbed Buzzcut by the wrist. You're not going anywhere, he snarled. Try resisting this. Sirens echoed closer. Police stormed into a crowd of neighbors, all holding phones up high. Jordan's voice shook as he yelled, They almost killed my boy. Officers cuffed both men on the spot. And the truth, they weren't law enforcement at all. No authority, no training, no paperwork, just two imposters playing soldier in suburbia. That night at the hospital, a doctor quietly told Danielle if he'd been under 10 more seconds. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. 10 seconds from losing her son, and that was all the fire she needed. 3 days later, their house was silent. Not from peace, from rage. Danielle sat at the kitchen table, laptop glowing, surrounded by HOA handbooks, highlighters, and case printouts. Caleb stayed upstairs, afraid of sounds, afraid of strangers. Jordan moved like a shadow, guilt eating at him. And Danielle? She was done being polite. Because 10 years ago, before motherhood, Danielle Walker had been one of the best civil litigation attorneys in her firm. She'd buried that fire. But now, it was clawing back. This wasn't about a pool. It was about power. Fake power that nearly killed her son, and Danielle Walker was ready for war. 4 days later, she marched into the Broward County Courthouse, blazer still faintly smelling of chlorine, and straight into the office of Assistant District Attorney Alan Brewer, a man with coffee breath and the confidence of a beige wall. "You're going to upgrade those charges," she said flatly. Brewer blinked. "Excuse me?" Danielle dropped a thick folder on his desk. "Attempted manslaughter, endangering a minor, assault with intent, impersonating an officer, at minimum." "Mrs. Walker, I understand your anger." "No, you don't," she snapped. "My son almost died. We have 11 videos, 7 witnesses, and a medical report. If you don't act, I'll file civil suits against the HOA, the city, and you." Can you picture his face? The man looked like he wanted to sink under his own desk. "These men, we're verifying who they are," Brewer stammered. "One's ex-military, dishonorably discharged. The other's a private contractor." "Which means he knows how to drown someone fast and quiet," Danielle shot back. Brewer sighed. "We're preparing charges. Just let the process—" Slam. The sound of her folder on his desk echoed like a gavel. "You have until Friday," she said. "After that, I go public." And she did. By Thursday night, her face was everywhere. Podcasts, radio, local TV. She held up photos, showed bruises on Caleb's small neck, even played neighbor audio. "My son was drowned," she said firmly, and they dared to call it compliance. The internet exploded. Fake HOA cops trended. By Friday, the county caved. The charges were upgraded to attempted murder. But Danielle didn't stop. That same night, she added 3 more names to her lawsuit. Every HOA board member who approved those uniforms. And the next morning, 6:45 a.m., a knock rattled the door of HOA President Gerald Whitmore, retired dentist, perfect smile, shiny new Tesla. That knock turned into a bang. Federal agents raided his house. Footage spread online. Gerald, red-faced in his robe, shouting, "This is a misunderstanding," while boxes labeled evidence were carried out behind him. Inside those boxes, proof. Whitmore had created a secret compliance program, hiring men like Cole Maddox and Vince Riker to keep the neighborhood in line. He paid them under the table to threaten, intimidate, and enforce order by any means. And guess who cracked first? Cole Maddox, the same man who nearly drowned Caleb. Under interrogation, he broke. "Whitmore gave us badges," he confessed. "Told us the Walkers were a problem. Said, make an example." Can you believe that? A child almost died because a man in a golf polo wanted control. After that, other victims stepped forward. A woman threatened for letting her father live with her. A kid's basketball hoop ripped from his driveway while fake officers screamed slurs at him. Nobody had questioned them until Caleb nearly died. Now, the floodgates were open. Danielle stood on the courthouse steps, folder in hand, cameras flashing. "This wasn't a rogue act," she declared. "This was the system you created." The story roared nationwide. Fox News aired fake HOA cops nearly kill child. CNN followed. Daytime talk shows joined in. The Walkers, a black family who'd nearly lost their son, had become the voice of outrage and justice. During one interview, Caleb sat beside his mom, clutching his stuffed orca whale. When asked what the man said while holding him under, his small voice trembled. "He told me to stop squirming, little punk." Danielle's hand tightened around his shoulder. The studio went silent. Back home, remorse swept through the neighborhood. Neighbors brought casseroles, apologies, and signs that read, "No fake cops allowed." One veteran hammered that sign onto the community board himself. A petition to dissolve the HOA gathered 5,000 signatures in 3 days. And just like that, the same block that once hid behind fences began watching out for each other again. Caleb laughed. Not the same, but enough. The fake cops came with cruelty, but left behind something stronger. A family that refused to break. A community that finally stood up. Because in the end, the Walkers were still standing, together. If you believe no family should ever face imposters hiding behind fake authority, smash that like button and subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, because real strength is found in standing together.